Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sault Ste. Marie Police Board meeting, November 19th. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Could I get the time, please?
9:58.
It's 9:58 a.m. And present with me are Joe Greco. Matt Shoemaker is joining electronically from the phone, Marchi Bruni, and Amanda Williams is with us. We're going to have her sworn in briefly. Also, Chief Duguay is here, and we have some other staff with us. So before we get started, I'd like to begin with a territorial acknowledgement. And we're going to begin by acknowledging that we are on the Robinson-Huron Treaty Territory, and the land on which we're gathered today is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, specifically the Garden River Batchewana First Nation, as well as the Métis people. And this morning we have the very happy duty of swearing in Amanda Williams. Amanda, we're so happy to have you on the board. Thank you for completing our complement. And I just know you've got a great business head and you're very connected with the community. We're delighted to have you. So there's a little process that Sarah's going to help us with.
It's up to your personal choice. Sometimes you sit, sometimes you stand. Probably more comfortable, is it? Maybe you're just going to read and sign and I'll stay.
I, Amanda R. Williams, solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of Canada, which recognizes and affirms Aboriginal and treaty rights of Indigenous peoples, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as a member of Sault Ste. Marie Police Services Board faithfully, impartially, and according to the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019, and any other act and any other regulation, rule, or bylaw. So help me God. Here. I, Amanda R. Williams, solemnly swear that I will not disclose any information obtained by me in the course of my duties as a member of the Sault Ste. Marie Police Services Board, except as I may be authorized or required by law. So help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations, Amanda. Welcome.
Yeah.
And moving on with our agenda, is there any conflict of interest declarations this morning? And could I get a motion to accept the public agenda for November 19th, please? Marchi and Joe, and we'll vote on that. All in favor? Thank you. And we're just going to move into in camera now. Is that right, Lisa? Yeah, okay. We're good. If I could get a motion to move into in camera, we're going to discuss a couple of matters that are confidential pursuant to Section 44A of the Community Safety and Policing Act. And those matters are included but not limited to potential litigation, human resources matters, and legal matters that are arising from solicitor-client privilege. Joe has moved. Aren't you second? All in favor? And thank you, Matt. We're in closed session. Also, excuse me, at the outset, I should have advised that Tom Gervais is joining us from the province. Tom provides a lot of guidance and direction for us from a governance perspective. He's a great resource to us and he joins most of our meetings.
Okay.
We're going to resume our public agenda, but before we do, I just wanted to take the opportunity to publicly welcome Amanda Williams to the board. We're delighted to have her. She's very connected with the community, very strong business mind, and happy to call her my friend, and we're delighted to have you on the board, Amanda. Welcome.
Thank you.
Just exited from our closed meeting, and anything that was arising from in camera, and today the only thing we have is another happy announcement. We're delighted to appoint a new deputy chief, Bill Freeman. Bill's been with the service for a long time. He was serving as the acting deputy chief, particularly during some very tumultuous times. We're delighted that Bill has stepped up to take on this role. Can't imagine somebody doing a better job. And we're very happy to have you. So Bill, there is, you've signed an employment agreement with us, and I don't think there's an appointment bylaw, right? No, it's just me orally welcoming you to the board and, welcoming you as the deputy chief. And so we're going to resolve that we appoint Bill Freeman as the new Deputy Chief of Police for Sault Ste. Marie effective November 19th, 2025. May I have a mover, please? Marchie, and a seconder, Amanda. Thank you. All in favor? That's, of course, carried unanimously. Thank you, Matt.
I'll be very brief. I just want to, first of all, I'd like to thank the hiring committee and obviously the members of the board and our chief of police, Brent Duguay, for entrusting me with this role. And I look forward to continuing to work with all of you, especially the chief, moving forward and providing safety to our community here in Sault Ste. Marie and Trents Township. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Item 9 is the adoption of the regular board meetings from September 24. Have a mover for that, please?
Moved.
Joe, Marchie seconded. All in favor? And that's carried. And if we could, before we get on to the rest of the agenda, do we know if we had a delegation?
Either that or they left because we were so long.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that. There was a potential delegate who was going to come and speak to us on a matter, but doesn't seem to be present, so we'll carry on. I just moved that up just to convenience that civilian, so we wouldn't be waiting around for a whole. So then it's going to be over to the chief for communications, and these reports are for information of the board.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, the breakdown for our board account of Angela, finance person, speak to that, please.
So this is the board's, we call it the auction account. Amanda, just for your reference, since you're new, certain monies that get turned over after file have been completed go to the board. It goes into a separate account that the board manages. They can use the funds at their discretion. So basically, this is an accounting of that board's account for this year. You can see we had a few large deposits, so we do auction off items, and the proceeds also drop into this account as well. So the balance as at September 30th was just over $74,000. And if you look to the bottom of the page, the board does have some money invested with Edward Jones. And then they also have a term deposit with NCU. So I kind of manage that on behalf of the board based on the direction, and we just revisit as needed. And again, the board used that with funds at their discretion.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Moving forward to our overtime. So to date, our overtime is as of October, $889,000, which compared to last year, we're at 1.1 million. The year before, we're at 1.1 million. The year before that, we're at $920,000. So we're under for year to date over the last 4 or 5 years, which is a good trend. Obviously, the overtime is still high, and we kind of had that discussion at the council meeting the other day. So we are seeing it come down from previous years, and then some of that is just through some processes we're trying to get into place, and some of that is certainly the staffing that's coming up. To that, staffing for the year to date is at staffing shortage overtime, is at $152,000. Last year, at the end of the year, we were at $343,000. So that number's coming down significantly. We still have 2 months to go. So that, the 152 will potentially be a little higher, but we certainly won't be at the $300,000 mark. So good news for us, the extra staff is starting to pay some dividends. You're not going to see huge drops in our overtime. Again, month after month, our overtime is spent on our ESU, our CID, our specialty kind of units that come out to support our investigations. So Patrol for overtime last month, we were at $14,000. A CERB was unusually high at $7,000 or $7,700. Typically, that's either people are off sick or there's vacation time. CERB is high for us comparatively. Pete, I don't know if there's any putting you on the spot here, but is there any anomaly there for CERB over the last month that you can think of?
We have 2 officers, so they're kind of backfilled at part-time, so it a little bit of a
driving the overtime up a little bit, so we're trying to back those. I'll move to year-to-date stats. Again, I'm going through this. We had a bit of a long first half, so if anybody has any questions, slow me down, I can certainly speak.
Is there anything on the overtime, board?
nothing.
$1,000 less than last year.
Let's flip back to, so we're at 157 to date, which means we still have a few months to go. Angela, that would have been October to the end of October, just the end of September.
This is the end of October.
Okay, so the end of October, we're at 157,000, and the end of the year last year, our overtime staff shortage is 348,000, I believe it was. So, I mean, staff shortage overtime is being reduced substantially, I would say. Obviously, we're seeing now through the summer and things like that, and some of those officers that we hired are now not with their coach officers anymore, and we're starting to see them fill in kind of the ranks there. Angela potentially has a comment, which is awesome.
I do have a comment, and only because it came up at council during our budget presentation. So just to clarify for everybody too, staffing shortages on the road are a percentage of our total overtime that we incur. Most overtime is driven by calls for service. So I just wanted to reiterate that the staffing shortages for this year comprise about 14% of our total overtime. So it's not a huge driver of overtime. We are seeing that has come down because of the bodies we do have on front line now. But I just wanted to reiterate the fact that that is not, the more staff we have doesn't necessarily mean all of our overtime is going to come down.
So, just, um,
That's certainly the hope, sir, yes.
but in plain language, the overtime, Brent, can you just like, again, thumbnail it, that it's, how is it getting, how is it being created?
So a small, yes, once again, a small percentage of our overtime is created by staffing shortages on the road. The large portion, overwhelming portion is by investigative supports, such as our specialized units, investigative teams, emergency services unit, K-9 unit. And those are the teams that get called out when we have the major event. And we have to often call those people out from home, so we're paying them overtime and call out time to come out. You know, that would be every incident from potentially a drug warrant, individual with a gun, barricaded person, missing persons. Those are the types of things where and any obviously death or serious injury, we would also call out our identification unit to gather essential evidence. We don't call them out for every call, but the major occurrences, we bring out the specialists to manage those cases for us.
Thank you, Chief. Was there something further, Matt? Thanks for bringing that up, Angela. That's important. Maybe carry on.
We're good with overtime?
Yeah.
Okay. From stats position, we're doing year to date. So unfortunately, we're still seeing IPV up 4.6% year to date. Some other areas of concern, fraud is up approximately 34%. It does show our homicide rate of 3. We are at 4 homicides this year, but the stats obviously are always kind of a month or so behind blowing them. So, yeah, there's always still work to be done. Obviously, there's the violent offenses are still seem to be a major concern for us. And once again, that also drives the overtime and bringing those specialty units up. So, any questions about kind of the stats for the year today? Prince Township, which is an area we police. Year to date, we have approximately 102 calls out in Prince. It's spread out over a variety of different calls. Police assistance is always kind of near the top, so that's just call to police for assistance. And then obviously there's some accidents and things like that occur out there. So typically those are generated by somebody calling us looking for help or something happening. We do patrol out there. We do write traffic. Obviously, we have about 15 traffic complaints for the year out there. So we are out there policing proactively, but typically that's a call for service. And we're at a place at 102 for the year, which is fairly low numbers for everyone size. Division 2 stats, kind of a good news story. Spoke a lot about it again at the council meeting. Year to date, we've had made 120 arrests from that 5-person unit kind of down there. Criminal code charges are 85. We laid 8 drug charges that would have been open drug use or trafficking that we've identified by those officers. Again, this is just the unit that's assigned to Division 2, so not what our other officers are doing on the patrol level or the drug unit level. We've written 298 PONs, which would just be tickets, 11 bylaws, several street checks, property checks. And I think probably what most of the store owners in that downtown want to see is we've had 143 hours of foot patrol and 52 hours of bike patrol. So that visibility level in the downtown, kind of creating that feeling of more police presence down there, I think is being achieved. Obviously, you know, we're looking at probably raising the number of officers assigned down there in the new year. Wait for the budget to get kind of completed before we move that forward. So, okay.
Just the Marine unit, just because it was mentioned at the board, at the council meeting, excuse me, that we have no hours allotted to that right now.
I do believe we had some statistics. We were on the boat.
I think we're on the board 8 times this year.
So that would have been shared duty, fireworks for Canada Day. We've done some patrolling. We've done some work with the RCMP with regards to border integrity. We will track that. We got kind of late start into it because of the trying to get the MOU signed with APS. Yeah, well, that's something that we can certainly be reporting on. Obviously, this time of year, not gonna have a lot of marine, but by next summer, and we'll decide to create a report.
Right, Lisa, just go back for a second. Could you do that chart? So it's showing, the Marine Patrol is just showing dashes, but that's just because we haven't caught up with the paperwork.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll make that a little more fulsome for our next meeting if you want.
Sure.
And we'll have an idea. I don't anticipate any more Marine Patrol this year. We also, that unit would also do some small machine patrol and things like that. So potentially we can lump that in as well once the winter's over.
Thank you.
Okay.
Questions?
IPV stats, as of November 7th, this year, we've completed 853 callbacks. We have initiated 10 new calls for service, and there have been 2 new IPV related charges with regards to that program. So moving forward, I think it's been reported fairly heavily in the media. Obviously, it's something that started under the former chief, and we're continuing it on as part of our SOP. So any questions?
Any questions? Chief, I know that you do that follow-up with victims of IPV.
Sure.
I just had a little bit of input from a vested agency who was wondering if it's possible to advise the victim at the time of the incident that you'll be calling back in 48 or 72 hours or whatever it is, so that there's some, it's such a terrifying situation, and then to get a phone call from the police some days later, if they were expecting it, it might be a little bit softer.
Sure, we can explore that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions on? So use of force, again, we're year-to-date reports. We're up kind of 12 from where we were last year, 91, and incidents are at 67. So the reason between the discrepancy between incidents and reports are three individual officers attend at a certain call. They all pull out their firearm and point them at an individual. That would be 3 reports, but only 1 incident. So our tactical team works a little differently. They only do a 1 report for a team report. However, individual officers have to do the individual reports. So if they use force, or use 3 different force options, there'd be 3 different reports, but only 1 incident. So that's why you see the discrepancy there. Overall, from this month, we had 1 CEW display. So, I mean, obviously the numbers are up for the year to date, but you're seeing a lot more firearm points, and because we're dealing with a lot more firearms in the community, unfortunately. So,
Any questions on that?
so currently, for this covering off September.
Sorry, can
Yep.
we go back? What is empty hands? What is that called?
So empty hand technique would be anytime if I say took you to the ground,
Okay.
I punched or kicked somebody, so
Okay, so it's no
there's
weapon.
no assigned use of force options are in your hand. That would be an empty hand
Okay,
altercation. And often will result as, it starts with empty hand, and then I transition to potentially another use of force option. Officers will put this, kick the person, get distance, and then move to a baton, CEW, or my firearms. So
Okay,
they'll be included in that report.
okay, thank you.
So this is up to, for the month of September, we had 8 complaints to LECA, which only 1 is currently ongoing. The rest have either been closed out. For us to date, 2024, we were sitting at 44 public complaints. The year to date, we're only at 32. Internal complaints were 11 year to date. For 2025, we're at 10. And SIU was at 4 for 2024, and only at 1 currently this year. So that's as of September, obviously.
Question to the chief. These complaints that do not proceed forward, would the body camera play a significant role as when someone's accusing an officer?
So I think it certainly speeds up the investigative process for LECA. I think that when they contact us and they know there's body worn camera, they can make a determination fairly quickly. I think if somebody calls here complaining and they say, well, certainly we'll pull the body worn camera. Well, you have a body worn camera may prevent the complaint from going in. That's hard to judge. Often we get goes to LECA first, we get it, and then we simply provide information to LECA once they initiate the investigation. When LECA gets the investigation, they'll obviously direct us to do that investigation, but we report back to them. So often, there's no public interest, they're frivolous complaint, depending on the reasons for LECA. So out of those 8, only one hasn't been determined to be either resolved at this point.
Yeah.
Also, if there's a criminal matter ongoing, LECA won't take on the complaint. So they wait till the criminal matter's over before they investigate. So some of those potentially have been resolved that way. So they're closed for now, but then maybe reopened once the criminal matter's done with it. So.
Okay.
We have several notices of appreciation, 6 letters of appreciation from the public. Majority of these are now being received through our website. So just a change in culture. People are using our website a lot more to communicate with the police service. Suppose that would have been a letter sent to the chief's office of thank you. So, like I said, there's some great work being done out there. Month to month, we're getting 3, 6, 8, 9 letters of.
Do you want to take a minute and highlight some of those? That's such a.
Certainly. In October, police service received an entry on the website from a member of public commencing Constable Jamie Peace. Individual stated that they had an interaction with her regarding an incident of theft, and she was very professional and polite. So often it's just that public service is what they're thanking us for, that customer service. There's.
And this one with comfort.
Are we here? October. Sault Ste. received an entry of a website from a member of the public commenting Constable Patrick Comfort. The individual advised they had been involved in a situation back in 2024. The officer listened to them and made them feel like they mattered. The individual wanted the officer to know that since that interaction, their life has changed dramatically, and they will never forget Constable Comfort's kindness and compassion. So
that's quite a sentence.
That's right.
That's quite a statement. Yeah.
Dispatchers for their diligence for responding and to an accidental 911 hang up. So, there's our members do a great job every day. Not often recognized for the job they do because that's kind of what is expected of them. But it's certainly nice to see that there's members of the public that do appreciate when we show up and change their life. This is the biggest thing that's happened in their life. For us, it's just another call. So we want to make sure we treat people with respect and the dignity they deserve, and spend the time that it takes to make sure their call's being handled properly. And I think we're doing that, every day out there. So.
Well, thanks for going back on that. And as you know, you can't write your own reviews. So we've said that we're a compassionate, complete police force. And now we've got members of the public just reiterating that. So I'd like to highlight it. Thank you very much.
Okay. We are now at court time costing. Angela, would you like to speak to us a little bit?
So first we have item number 11.
Yes.
We skipped on the agenda. You're still going by documents.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Sorry. So I think sorry, I'm behind as well here.
So smoothly, wasn't it?
Yes, your car's already started. So we'll just, may I get do I need a motion to accept that, Lisa, and the chief's reports? Thank you. We'll move on to 11 then, which is the reimbursement of seized funds. Angela?
Correct. Right with that. Thank you. So the proceeds that go into the auction account that I spoke to earlier, sometimes we end up having to turn some of those proceeds around. Something changes in the process. So I just wanted to, it's more for the board's information, that we had a matter where $800 had been deposited to the board's auction account. It turned out we had to turn those funds over to the original person that they belong to. So just so the board is aware that money had to go to that person. It was just an FYI.
And it's this on my agenda. This is seeking direction for the board's approval on that. So if I could just get a mover and a seconder on reimbursement, please, Joe and Amanda, and all in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's unanimous.
Now we're at the financial.
And now we could move to item 12, which is our financial update. Angela, our chief, is it just
Angela? No, it's always Angela.
Sorry.
The court time is the first document we have on there, Angela.
Okay, all right. So again, for the board's perspective, the collective agreement speaks to court time when an officer has to go and attend court for whatever matter when they're off duty. There's a provision in the collective agreement that they get paid for that. The time that they are paid or the amount that they are paid is banked and paid out once a year. So our court time runs from October 1st So it would have been October 1st, 2024, and it just closed September 30th, 2025. So we just ran through the full court year. So this is our final report for 2025. We had a budget of $72,000 and the total amount paid out was almost $95,000. We knew it was going to be a little bit over budget. We knew the budget was a little bit low. I had anticipated that would actually come in much higher than that. I had kind of predicted it would be about $120,000. So I'm pleasantly surprised that it wasn't that high. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the staff in the court office, particularly Laura Sweeney, who does a good job managing officers and their time off to make sure that we try to get them in when they're working. So we try to mitigate the cost of court time. For 2026, I just wanted to let the board know that we have increased the budgeted amount for court time to $135,000.
Well, obviously for police service, we don't control court time. We try and bring them forward when they're on vacation. Here's the vacation days, look around that. We run work with the courts, but ultimately if the Crown or the defense say we need that officer here, they come in on their day off. And if it's, courts aren't, we aren't the last stop of when a court date's being set. So we only control it so much. We try to be very predictive of it. We do have a person assigned to make sure that they have their vacation in front of them when we're booking these dates, and we try and obviously for the officer's sake as well, they need their time off and their vacation time. Nobody likes to have to cancel a trip because they have to come back from court. However, court is something that we're seeing a rise in, and more defense lawyers are requesting more officers. We're hoping potentially that body-worn cameras will do some of this as well. So that remains to be seen. But there's obviously we've tried to budget appropriately for it for next year. So we're a little low this year. We don't want to be in the same boat next year. So. Okay. Projections, Ange?
Sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me, so
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
So every quarter I do a projection for the board. This has already gone to the finance committee that I had on.
Okay.
That up, yeah. It's already gone to the finance committee, so this is just an update for the entire board at this point in time. So our third quarter ended September 30th, 2025. I want to start with the fact that in January, we kind of expected we're going to be over budget by about $2.3 million. As a result of managing our budget and senior management's decision-making and some things that we could defer to other years and potentially maybe do without for this year. Our projection as at September 30th is now almost $1.2 million that we will be over budget. We feel we've taken a kind of diligent approach in deciding what we're expending this year, what we really need. The caveat is that a projection is an estimate. So this is basically everything staying the same. This is what we expect to happen. If anything does change, for instance, any major cases going forward, that's going to change this information. So it's based on the best estimates and information that I had at the time when I prepared this. I did take a look at the October results. I just wanted to bring that up. I looked at that yesterday, and I'm still expecting it to be around the same with the $1.2 million mark. Just a few things to highlight since I presented the second quarter results. We've had a little bit of an increase in revenues. We signed an agreement with the Ontario Police College, so we do have an officer seconded there. So I've included the portion of revenue that we'll receive from that to offset the officer's salary. We did confirm that we are receiving the community safety and policing grants. So that had been included in our budget and we were successful in receiving them, which we had anticipated. Division 2 has been complete and that was funded from reserves. So you'll see that I've just offset the expenditures with the funding from reserves. So that's a net zero impact to our budget, but it's just highlighted as an item. And then anything that we get that's unexpected or other income goes through our other income line. Obviously, it's kind of miscellaneous things, small grants that we get that we didn't expect, reimbursements for things. We did have an increase in that this year. We did have a vehicle write-off. So the proceeds from the insurance company go through the revenue account, and then the offset to replace that vehicle goes through the expenditures. So again, it's a near net zero to us. I just highlight the difference there. Salaries and benefits, nothing further to report. It's kind of status quo right now. We had quarter 2, we had 2 retirements. We have not had any more retirements since then. We've not received any from now until the end of the year. So I expect no changes will happen there. And then operating and capital expenditures, again, we've taken measures to make sure that we're very diligent in managing those expenditures and making sure that we are spending what we need to spend for adequate and effective policing. Quarter 4 is our heavy spending period. That's when we just bought all new uniforms for the officers. That's typically when we do that. That's typically when we buy our ammunition. Our firearms just came in, so you'll see at the end of the year, we'll start to see those expenditures creep up, but I've accounted for what I'm aware of in that projection. So yeah, unless you have any questions, that's kind of where we're at right now.
Thank you, Angela. Are there questions, board? Matt, did you have anything for Angela?
Almost spilled the tea on it before the board heard it, but got down from a $2.3 million projection to a $1.2 million projection. That's really great work to the admin, and kudos to them for getting it there.
Thank you. And I'd like to echo that. And since the spring, budget and finance at City Police has been the headline. And that always falls to a human being, and the human being is Angela. And she has done it with a skeleton staff and a cheery disposition. And we are indebted to you. Really good work, Angela. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending council. And thank you for making it so digestible for all of us. Really good work. And that was just an update, so we don't need a mover or a seconder on that. And then back to you, Chief, on number 13, which is staff employment and secondary activities update, please.
Certainly, thank you very much. So the new fee scheduling, I'll have Inspector Dewar speak to it. Fortunately, Inspector Freeman is also here, so he can chime in if he needs to, because we changed our fees last year. We hadn't made any changes to the fees. So these fees would be for FOI requests, pulling video. So with the new CCTV cameras, there's obviously going to be some potential requests for that through FOI. And so we need to create a kind of fee structure that has to go through the board. So I'll have Inspector Dewar maybe speak to it in broad terms. And then obviously there's just a decision that has to be made by the board with regards to the fee structure. So.
Okay, thanks, Chief. As the chief said last year, and at the time, Inspector Freeman did a fulsome review of all the fee schedule. We implemented a fee schedule for body cameras and our CCTV or in-car camera systems. With implementing the CCTV cameras, we have to put a fee schedule up for that. Our feeling is it should be in line with the body worn cameras and in-car camera system footage. It's the same type of technology, the same resources into acquiring that footage. It's not like an interview where I'm interviewing somebody, redacting that. There is no redaction. It's just the officer and the prisoner. Where it's a CCTV camera, there could be a lot of people not involved, and redaction of all those people, that takes time and resources. So obviously that goes through the digital evidence management unit. That has to get downloaded, processes involved with doing all that. So because of all the time and resources, we aligned it with the body worn cameras. It's the same process, the same system, so it made sense to keep it the same. It's in line with other agencies across the province. So that's what we went with the board's approval.
So is that $50 each I'm seeing there, Inspector?
It is.
And a $15 reaction fee for every 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Margie has a question?
Yeah, it would have been nice to see the comparison from what was the cost. What was it, 2% increase, 3% increase, these new numbers?
So under the old, we didn't have body cams.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but the rest.
The rest of them, that was last year, sir. I wasn't involved in.
Okay.
Last year.
I can speak to that, is that there was a significant increase in some of those fees because the old fee schedule
Mhm.
was completely outdated, hadn't been updated, and I want to say over 10 years.
Right.
So there was significant increases in terms of the fees, and I can assure you that we contributed wages and manpower, that type of thing to that. Okay, now to give you a percentage for everyone, I don't have that in front of me. I have it on an old report, but I can get it to you.
Okay, thanks.
So just to correct my previous statement, copy of internal CCD at $50, that would be internal. So that'd be around the station. CCD increase for footage would be $150 per camera and $60 per hour for redaction. So just want to make sure we weren't confusing that with the media here in the room. Internal CCTV, obviously, if somebody came here and wanted one of our parking lot cameras, that would be the $50 fee.
Any other questions? Matt, anything you wanted to ask? And I just want to share with the board that we saw it through finance to determine if there would be any savings realized with our insurance as a result of the body worn camera. And of course, insurance said, no, there isn't. There is no,
Of course not.
there is no saving to be realized, but it was canvassed, and that was the response back. Thank you. We need a mover and a seconder for the fee schedule, please. Marchie has moved. Seconder, Joe, all in favor?
Sorry, no, could I do it?
So 2026 budget reflects current fees.
Did you hear her, Matt?
You did.
In the 2025 budget, correct?
Thank you. So, well, we can just continue. Do you have a mover and a seconder, Lisa noted?
Yeah, yeah.
And all in favor? Thank you. And that's carried. We actually skipped ahead. I know you're leaving. So now we're going back is what's happening, to the number 13, which is staffing deployment and secondary activities, please.
Okay. Gotta find that in here now. Oh, staffing deployment, secondary activity, but no. So again, this is a report we do monthly or at every board meeting, just for your sake, ma'am. It just speaks to, first of all, any change in rank or promotions. We had 3 officers that have moved from, will be moving to 3rd class constable or moved to 3rd class constable on September 24th. We also speak to a promotion with Constable Corey Brown, now Sergeant Corey Brown, on September 15th. In every one of these, we make sure everybody's aware of what our authorized and our actual numbers are, number of individuals on it. I see there's a bit of an error there, and the total should be 3 at the bottom instead of 2. As a requirement of the new act, we also have to speak to any secondary activities or any secondary employment. So we have 2 individuals that are seeking secondary employment, which has been approved. We also have several that have done paid duties, which is all booked through the police service. So paid duty would be high school football game needs 5 officers for security. They would call the station. We put that out. Officers then respond that they're available, and we go off a formula who's had the last one and how many hours each officer has. So we do this to make sure there's not a appearance that one officer is getting all the paid duties at a certain location. Ours is a mechanical system that doesn't. So whoever responds kind of first, and whoever's had the last one, there's a way of them beating that up. But we report on all that to make sure that we're meeting the requirements of the act. All right. And other than that, it's pretty light this year. We'll have hopefully the last one, there'll be some promotions coming, obviously, as a result of the new deputy chief. There'll be some internal promotions. We don't tend to report anything until this happens. So we'll speak to that in January. I guess we'll probably get this plus the next meeting. So, and other than that, that's it.
May I get a mover on that secondary activities, please? Amanda, seconded by Marchie. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, Matt. And we have tentative meeting dates for 2026.
So these are the dates that, based on what we did for 2025, I went with the last Wednesday of every month, excluding summer, July and August and December. I didn't put a time on there. We had discussed 1 o'clock, moving it to 10 o'clock. I don't think that's going to work for everybody's schedule, so we're just going to leave it as is. There'll be 1 o'clock last Wednesday of those months.
It's still tentative though. And with new business, does anyone have new business? I have some new business. Sorry, Matt, go ahead, please.
September the 30th, we'll have to adjust.
And if I just want to give the board and Amanda in particular, and me too, as I'm thinking about this, an opportunity to review it because it's still tentative. So if we need to change it, we can. With regard to new business, now that we have a fully constituted board, I recognize that everyone is using different email addresses. Some are using business addresses, some are using personal, and for FOI purposes, for your own just accountability, I think it would be better if we each had an SSM PSB email. and Lisa's looking into what that would look like in terms of getting that up and running and the costing. But it's not really on the agenda. I'm just giving you a tip that we're going to be looking at that early in January. She'll come back to us with some numbers for what it would cost to get that. But I think it's probably a good idea in terms of your own personal email security. And of course, if there's an FOI, it'll be a lot easier just to go through your police rather than all your personal area business. We have and the next meeting is next year.
If I could, Lola,
Yes.
one more new business, the soundproofing of the board office
Oh, thank you. Yes.
resolution for the fund.
This building has created a lovely little office space for the board where you can store materials. If you need to print out an agenda, there's a small bit of space. It abuts Lisa's office, the secretary to the board, but it's not very well soundproofed. So if you're in there and you're discussing something confidential or your personnel matter, for example, it can be heard through, I think, abutting offices. So she's got a costing on what it would look like to have that properly soundproofed. It's shockingly inexpensive, in my opinion. It's about $3,000 to have it done. We have the authority to do something like that from our auction funds, and that will scarcely make a dent in the auction fund. So that will come forward again in the new year, just to formalize it, make sure everyone's in agreement with having that area soundproofed.
If we could do a resolution now, they said they're ready to go. We want to do it. It's
Is the
approximately
board
3,000.
prepared to vote on that matter right now?
Sure.
Oh. Is the costing
How was it obtained?
from the auction account?
No.
Through the city. The city.
The city,
Inspector Dewar can speak to it.
Yeah, let's have someone knows what they're talking about.
Mr. Mayor, we had the costing through the city.
City Board of Works essentially is gonna do the work for us.
Oh, okay.
They would
that's what I
be,
was-
they would be the cheapest.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so if the board is prepared, that would make life easier, I think, for Lisa. Are you prepared to vote on that? Could I get a mover? Joe and a seconder, Marchie, and all in favor? Matt, you good?
Doesn't matter.
Anyways, that's unanimously approved. And we have another meeting date. The next meeting date is set for January 28th, 2026, here,
Okay.
10 a.m.,
One.
1 p.m.
Yeah, we decided that wasn't gonna work.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Thank you all very much.
We're, can I get a motion to adjourn, please? Amanda, Marchie, thank you. And we're adjourned at, Lisa,
12:36.
thank you very much.